live. So last night, both number one seeds lost. The 76ers beat the Miami Heat, and the Dallas Mavericks beat the Phoenix Suns, both to tie the series at 2-2. So, with this new evidence that we have, are the number one seeds in trouble?
I think the first question that really needs to be asked is what is more shocking, the fact that the 1 and 4 seeds are tied 2-2, or the fact that I don't have any facial hair anymore now? We'll let the viewers comment on that, but
Yes.
the beard had to go. Um, and it's kind of funny because as soon as my beard left, the beard, James Harden, arrived. I'm not saying that, there's any connection, but there's no such thing as
Maybe.
coincidences, right?
Exactly.
uh, no, but to answer the question, I think both are they're in trouble, but I don't think they're uh, that it's like over, like that
Yeah.
they can't win the series. Um, it's interesting because I've noticed, at least with the Suns and Mavericks, being the avid Suns fan that I am, um, the first 2 games, Luca had like over 40 points both games,
Yeah.
but the team sucked, and Suns ended up winning. Games 3 and 4, Luca had like 20 something points or something
There's
like
like
that.
28 and
Yeah,
26
but it
something.
wasn't his like 40 that he got the first 2. But the rest
Yeah.
of the team showed up and they won, whereas Devin Booker had 30 plus each night and they ended up losing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how the best team has ended up winning all
Both.
4 of those games. And
Yeah.
so I think it's going to come down to which team performs better when they're not at home,
Yeah.
because whoever wins the game not at home, that's the one who wins the series to me.
Yeah.
I think if the Suns lose game 5, they're losing game 6. And then, but I do think if the Suns are going to win game 5, and then if the Mavericks can't win at home and then win
Yeah.
game 7, then they're out. So, um, yeah, that's my thought with Suns
Um,
Mavericks.
for me, I think the only way the Suns will win is if Chris Paul gets his act together, because he has
Oh,
been
yeah.
awful the past 2 games. Like
And he was,
I
or
don't
sorry,
think
go
they
ahead.
can
Go ahead.
I don't think they can win either of the next 2 games or 2 out of the next 3 if he's not how he was the first 2 games, because he just played he did something he had never done in his whole career. I can't remember which game it was, 3 or 4, but how he had 7 turnovers in the first half. Um,
Yeah, that was game 3.
yeah,
And that was one of the big reasons why the Suns lost that game, is because of of the 17 team turnovers, and 7 of them were from Chris Paul. It was just awful. And Devin Booker had 5.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, if Chris Paul plays how he did in the first 2 games, I think the Suns can easily win the next 2 games. But if he doesn't, I don't think Devin Booker, even if he plays pretty good and the whole Suns team plays pretty good, that they can beat the Mavericks 2 out of the next 3.
Well, and the thing with Chris Paul too, I wouldn't say he had a bad game like statistically. For the 23 minutes he played, it was still decent. I mean, he only
Yeah,
had 6 points, but he had 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and a steal to his 2 turnovers.
yeah, I
So,
just think
but
he.
because he fouled out, which was just so
Well,
like,
that's what I'm thinking. Like he played bad because he didn't play under control and keep his fouls under
yeah,
control. Like
yeah,
a lot of them were just kind of stupid.
yeah, half of them were stupid, and I'm just like, what are you doing, Chris? And then another thing, and this is a problem of every Chris Paul team, is because Chris Paul is a chirper. He'll
Yeah,
always chirp at the refs, and it affects the whole team, because then the whole team starts complaining. And every time that happens, Chris Paul loses the series.
it's
Like
true.
it happened with the Clippers, like every year. It
Yeah,
happened with the Rockets. I don't remember it happening with the Thunder because I don't think they were expected to win and he wasn't chirping as
Yeah.
much. And I hadn't seen it with the Suns until this playoff series,
Well,
where it seems like they are complaining about every call, even more so. And it's like, guys, you got to just get back
well,
on defense. And
I think part of the reason is because of Luca, because of how much he chirps and gets under people's skin, and he's complains after every call. And
oh
so
yeah,
it's like him and Chris Paul are going back and forth, getting under each other's skin, and then they're both like, because Luca's complaining so much, I think it has the effect on Chris Paul to complain, and it's just like, I don't know if it's the best recipe for Chris Paul because he's getting up there in age, and I don't know
Yeah.
if he can handle it as well as Luca can when it comes to just still being able to perform.
But the problem too is Luca's team isn't complaining.
That's
It's just
true.
Luca with the Suns. It's the whole team, and when the whole team starts complaining, the whole team falls apart.
Yeah,
Like if it wasn't affecting the whole team, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Okay, Chris Paul, you want to complain, complain,
yeah,
fine. But it is like, to me, it seems like it's clearly having an effect on the team as a whole, and you can't have that.
yeah. So bottom line, I think I'm gonna actually choose the Mavericks to upset.
Are
The
you serious?
Yeah,
Is this because you've been watching Nick Wright? Because
no,
he's been saying the Mavericks were going to win.
just from what I'm seeing, I just think that it's hard to win, like, because now it's basically a best 2 out of 3. It's
Yeah.
hard to win when the other team has the best player in the series. The Mavericks have the best player.
Yeah, that's true. The Mavericks also, they as a team, because with the Suns and Mavericks, the Suns were never out of either of these two games.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it got to like a 16-point lead, I think was the most at
Yeah.
one point, but in like the fourth quarter, it was always within like 9
They
points.
it wasn't a Warriors blowout against the Grizzlies where they won
Yeah,
by
yeah,
30.
no, like they were in both of these
Yeah.
games up until the end, and the Mavericks ended up pulling away and winning. So yeah, I think they can still. Um, I just lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I think the Suns can still win the
Yeah, I'm
series.
sticking with the Sun. Well, oh, that's what I was going to say. I think it's funny how over the course of like two games, an entire opinion over a series can change.
Oh
Because
yeah.
after game two, it's like, are the Suns going to sweep?
Yeah.
I think so. The Suns will probably sweep. Suns in 4. That's what they're chanting. And now it's like, oh, Mavs in 6.
Yeah. No, I know.
Um,
But
But
well,
I'm sticking with the Suns. I think the Suns will close this out in 6 games. I
yeah,
think they will make the necessary adjustments and get their act together back at home, and then that will carry over and they'll close it out.
I'm just foreseeing last year's finals where they were up 2-0 and then blow the next 4 games.
Yeah, but Luka's not Giannis.
Yeah, that's true.
But if he becomes like Giannis, then not only are the Suns in trouble, the whole league is in trouble.
Yeah. Well, that takes us to the other number 1 seed, unless you had something else to say.
No, I was just going to say, speaking of series that have quickly flipped on their head,
Yeah.
the Heat also looked like they were going to run away and sweep the series, winning by double digits every game.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid comes back, the masked man,
Yep.
and it's 2-2 now.
2-2. I know. I definitely thought the Heat were going to win this series. And then after seeing how the 76ers have been playing, I'm like, I mean, they have probably the 2 best players in
They got the 2
series.
best players in the series.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jimmy, it's hard because I don't know how to rank Jimmy Butler because he is so much better in the playoffs than in the regular season. And so him and Harden are like kind of neck and neck, in my opinion, so they could go either way. But either way, the Sixers still have the best player in Joel Embiid. And so I'm like, man, I think the 76ers could actually win because they only lost those games because Embiid wasn't there. And
Wait, or go ahead. Sorry.
no, you can go.
I was going to say, because the first game, I mean, they were in it until the end, but that
Yeah.
that was neck and neck up until about like the fourth quarter, and then the Heat ran away with it, and then the second game, Heat ran away with it.
Yeah.
Third game, Embiid comes back, and I was shocked that the Heat weren't even in that game at all. I mean, it was a blowout from the get-go, and the
Yeah.
Sixers led that to the end. And then the last game was neck and neck, and it looked like, James Harden finally arrived. And I
Yeah.
think James Harden is going to be the deciding factor. If he's going to have his 31 points, and hang on, let me be precise with that.
Just while you're looking up, I think if he doesn't even have to do what he did last game necessarily, but just give like a solid 23 to 25 points on pretty efficient shooting and just give out like 10 assists or something, and I
Yeah.
think they'll win.
Yeah, so Harden had 31 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds. Embiid had 24 points, 11 rebounds. But they combined for 10 turnovers between the two of them.
Wow, still
Which-
one. That's
Yeah. But I mean, I think Embiid is clearly the best player in the series, and as long as he stays healthy, they got a fighting chance. And I think it's going to come down to, is James Harden going to be, peak like 2 years ago James Harden, or peak 2 weeks ago James
Yeah.
Harden?
and is it hard for him to play in Miami?
Yeah. We'll see how well he does
Yeah.
after like 72 hours at the club and then pulling up to the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
And just from a personal standpoint, I would rather see Embiid versus Giannis in the next round. I think that would be so cool.
have they ever played each other in the playoffs before?
I don't think so.
I don't think they have.
I'm like, that would be so cool.
Yeah, they haven't played each other in the playoffs before. That would be cool. I'm okay with either one, because I would love a Heat versus Bucks rematch for the third year in a row
True.
too. So whoever wins that series,
I feel like the Bucks are going to gentlemen sweep whichever team comes out of the next or comes out of that round, if they make it past the Celtics first.
the Bucks may not even beat the Celtics. We'll see what happens tonight.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
That comment's not going to. I can already tell that comment's not going to age well. But you never know.
Yeah.
It's this. I was just thinking this. I'm like, there's no sweep in this round. Like, all of the series are so exciting to watch, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I know who's going to win, but like, this is one of the most exciting years of the playoffs, because I really don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, after tonight,
anything could happen.
All the series could be tied 2-2, which I'm curious if that's ever happened.
And it would be so cool if that happens. I'm pulling for it. Let's get them all 4 game 7s.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But to predict the Sixers and the Heat, I think I am going to go with the Sixers winning in 7.
I think I am too, even though I picked Miami originally on my playoff prediction.
Yeah, I picked them too, because you didn't even think the Sixers would beat the Raptors.
Well,
so.
no, I didn't, but they almost didn't.
Yeah. I could also see, as great as Philly's been playing and they got all the momentum now, I could easily see it just turns on its head and they become like, when they were playing the Raptors, those 2 games that they lost, and just like.
I'm interested to see how James Harden especially plays in a closeout game, if they do lead 3-2, or a win or go home game for them if the Heat go up 3-2, just to see how he handles that pressure.
Yeah, I'm and with that, I'm just interested to see, is James Harden out of his funk now, or is what we saw last night, the anomaly?
Yeah, is it like the one time dad can beat us in 21?
Yeah. By the way, so our dad, who's 56 now, can still beat us in a game of 21.
Yes.
With us playing as hard as we can. We're not going easy on him. He'll win like 1 game out of the 4 we'd play, but still.
He always gets the one good game.
Gets the one good game, everything connects.
So I guess we'll have to see if that was James Harden's or if he finally broke out.
Yeah. Either way, most exciting playoffs I've seen
Yeah.
in a while.